Guys, I'm Mariah. I run Mystical Deviation at Tumblr.com and Tarot Discussions at Blogspot.com. Just before I get started, this is another one of the reviews, as probably you can tell from the title, wherever it's at. This is going to be a review of the Shadowscapes Tarot. So just some few things before I get to that. I have been on a small hiatus. I want to apologize for that. I am going to come back kind of into the blogging world with this review, as well as a guest spot on a tarot blog from somebody that I follow, which I think I may have mentioned in other videos, which is Nicole. She runs the Queen of Chalices at Tumblr.com. I'll link to her below. And some other things that are really new. I took down my Etsy store. I put it back up. I've had a couple of sales now. Apparently that was an effective way to get revenue. That I still have those listings as mentioned before, I do the sexual tarot readings. I've kind of done a review of the deck that I use typically for those, as well as personal growth and relationship readings. Those are what I tend to do the most readings of, and tends to be what people mostly want to request. So those are kind of the tarot readings that I provide. I also have a listing now for Keen.com. I don't know if any of you know where that's at. Nicole, again, kind of mentioned it to me before, and I finally got everything situated to where now I am on there. It's 88 cents a minute. I only roughly get half of that. So one of the reasons that it looks like that on there is just because I kind of want to make some profit with it. Don't want to do it for free. But I am normally available for chat. I'm kind of slowly getting into the world of being able to do phone tarot readings. And so if you would like to get one of those, you can always arrange a call with me and we can figure out a mutual time that we can discover that. So I'm going to link to my Etsy. I'm going to link to the Keen.com, and I'm going to link to Nicole down below, as well as tag the person that kind of asked all of these questions so that she has some idea of where I'm coming from for this deck. So I have her questions pulled up. I'm going to kind of just review the deck, make some comments on it. She has a couple of questions that I'm going to directly answer, but you guys kind of know how these reviews go if you've ever been here before. I'm going to, again, link to all of my previous reviews down below as well, where you can purchase this deck. I'm going to include two versions of the deck, as you'll see in a moment, as why. You can purchase either one, if you're interested in that, by the way. And I will have pretty much everything that I talk about that I think I'm going to link below. I'm going to link below. Try to anyway. So this is the Shadowscapes Tarot. I got the bigger box. Obviously, you can tell this is a pretty big box. I got it with the companion text. It cost me about $2 to $3 more to buy this version of the deck than to get the version without the book. So I'm going to link to both versions down below. However, because of the price difference not being significantly different, I mean literally was less than a $5 difference, I would recommend that you get this with the companion text. Like I've mentioned before in my reviews, this companion text will do you wonders. You will never need another textbook for this deck ever. I know a lot of people are always asking tarot bloggers and tarot readers, well, what book would you recommend for me? Get a deck that comes with a book. It will be so much more helpful to you, in my opinion, than the books that you get from the review, the books that you can get from otherwise. There is a book that goes with this, sort of, that's called Tarot for Beginners by Barbara Moore. I have that book. I'm not going to pull it up just because I'm going to do a review of it completely, and I kind of get into tangents. It includes photographs of this deck, as well as meanings and descriptions for them, as well as the Legacy Tarot and the Rider-Waite-Smith, either the Universal, the Radiant, or the Classic. Either one, any of those can be used for that deck. So that's one of the things that you can expect. You can expect other books to be as comparable, but it is nothing like this book. So in my opinion, I would still recommend getting your deck with a companion text, because it's going to be everything to the deck. What it's going to include is some imagery for you. It's going to include maybe a storyline if there's a story to these cards. These cards kind of have a storyline. This deck book gives you a picture and then a description. The description, well, that one didn't have a description. Wow. The photograph and the description. As you can tell, the descriptions are pretty lengthy. You're going to get a lot out of this. I think it's really poetic. It's really elegant. I love that about this deck. So that is the one thing that I think I recommend for everyone, is to never buy just the deck. If you can help it, get the companion text with it. You won't regret that decision. So as you guys know, I talk about packaging. And normally I kind of went off on a tangent about the book. The packaging is kind of crappy. You guys know how I feel about the packaging. There we go. That gives you kind of an idea. I'm just not a fan of this type of packaging. I like it better when it opens and not like this. This is not how I want to get my decks out. It's really hard to put the deck and the book back in. This is the book it came in. The deck isn't this big, so there's a lot of storage issue for me for this box. But I don't store it in here. I put it in my grandmother's old jewelry box. There's some compartments that fit some of my decks, so I just kind of put 2 or 3 of my decks in there at once with a few gems, and that's kind of how I deal with it. This is, I'm going to slow down and catch my breath. This is one of the cards in the deck. Again, I really love the detail, the elegance, to me, it's very poetic. This is what's included on the back. It includes some pictures of the card. Most of you guys have probably seen these cards. I can probably link you to 100 different websites that will give you this box. And this is I do appreciate this font. I love this font. I think again, there's nothing visually about this deck that I don't like. So getting into some of her questions, she kind of thought she wanted some general thoughts, which I'm kind of just including in everywhere. One of the things she asked is what type of personality it has. I don't normally mention this in my video because the people have different views of it, but I think the personality is really, again, kind of poetic. It's someone who's creative, emotionally tied. It's very spiritual. You're going to connect with it really easily if those things are things that you can kind of build up and you've had a lot of experience in. If you're very spiritual, you're very poetic, if you're very romantic, kind of and not in the sense of like boyfriend, girlfriend, but just romantic as a personality trait. Those are the things that you're going to really connect with this deck. That's the type of personality I get from my deck. The type of readings that it's good for, which is another question she asked, is I think it's good for every reading. I've kind of done some relationship readings, which are, again, that's most of my readings, so that's kind of where I'm at. So they're really good for personal growth, really good for spiritual readings, really good for relationship readings. Again, these are going to be kind of more things that you're going to be able to touch with, like, your feelings. So if it's within the feeling scope of things, I think you're going to have a little bit of an easier time reading with this deck. I'm going to show you some cards, but some of the first things I always do is complain about the deck. This, when I purchased it, came like this. And this is a common problem with the Shadowscapes Tarot. It frays really easily. And if you're really OCD like myself, that's going to be something that's going to bother you a bit. I feel like for such a popular deck, this cardstock is not adequate enough. You should probably put it on a better cardstock. And that's probably one of the first things, other than packaging, that I always comment on, are the type of cardstock that you put it on. This deck is popular. People like this deck. That being said, I would still be willing to pay more money if it was on a better cardstock, because this deck is beautiful. And I'm going to pay $25 already for the deck. I might as well get the better cardstock. Like, I'm willing to pay a little more, give me the better cardstock. So that's kind of just my little spiel about the cardstock. As you guys probably could see, this was the cover of the companion text. It's the Page of Pentacles. This is probably the darkest card by color-wise that it's in the entire deck. But the Pentacles feature this green and purple, more green than anything. The cups are more purple and blue, which are just traditional cards. This is the Six of Cups. I like the little rabbits and just the imagery. Again, there's a lot of these yellows throughout. There's a lot of these purples throughout the deck. This is what the Pentacles typically look like. This green. This is featured, this kind of stained glass look is featured throughout the deck. I really like that. While I'm thinking about it, this is what the back of the deck looks like. Again, really beautiful, really elegant. I cannot say that enough. The dark purples and the yellows are, again, kind of going to be the swords. You're going to see that a lot. This is another Swords. It kind of features more of a white card. And this is the cover of the box, which is the Queen of Swords. So this is what she looks like. I really love this deck. Again, you're going to see a lot of butterflies, a lot of birds, a lot of woodsy animals. The wands are this brown and yellowish color. Again, and you see some reds in there, but more browns than anything. The Pentacles, again, this was one of my favorite ones. It's got just this little spider, and that just, again, the way the artwork is, it's just, to me, it's very beautiful and wispy. This is one of my favorite cards throughout all of the decks. This is like my favorite card to read. This is one of the first cards I ever learned the meaning of without really doing anything, and this is the Seven of Pentacles, I believe. Yes, it is the Seven of Pentacles. And it just, this is, to me, is very beautiful. I like this card especially. I like the fruit. Manifesting. This is kind of what the major arcana looks like. It's going to have these grays, these purples, these yellows, but this is what they kind of look like. They're going to have that more, this tone to them. The Wheel of Fortune is one of the most beautiful cards too as well. So that's kind of what you can expect. The back of the box says that it's a Celtic type thing. It kind of draws from that. And it draws from Asian cultures and such. And I really quite love this deck. Barbara Moore is a individual who worked with this deck as well. I really like what she does with tarot. So if you're a fan of Barbara Moore, I would definitely recommend that deck. Those are kind of the things that I have to say about the deck. Hopefully you guys aren't too sad I haven't been missing. So hopefully this video kind of gets you guys back into it, and I will see you later. Bye.